as I was saying, two successors called Caesars, and this was meant to be a system to ensure political stability. The idea being that the two emperors would each rule together, each ruling half of an empire, and each emperor had a designated successor. And by having an emperor with a named successor during his lifetime, the idea was, this would prevent the sort of internal civil war and fighting for power that had become the norm during the 3rd century crisis. Now, another attempt by Diocletian to stabilize his empire was to ensure his own deification and to insist on public worship of himself and of the other Roman emperors. And in order to deal with the issue of Christianity's non-compliance with this order, Diocletian launched the Great Persecution. It was the most brutal persecution up to that time. Several saints were martyred and/or imprisoned during this persecution. Now, eventually, Diocletian came to a decision in his own lifetime that he wished to retire from his position as Emperor of the Romans. Now, he wanted his co-emperor, his co-Augusti, Maxentius, to step down as well. Maxentius refused to do it, and this resulted in a war between Diocletian and Maxentius that ultimately plunged the empire into yet another civil war. And that civil war would end with the ascension. Diocletian would die, and eventually it would lead to a civil war between Constantine and Maxentius. Now, Maxentius was the main rival to Constantine, and in 312, there was a battle known as the Battle of Milvian Bridge. So what happened? Well, Constantine is about to face his greatest rival, Maxentius. Maxentius holds the city of Rome, and Constantine holds territory in the surrounding countryside. Now, in order to win the battle, this is going to be the main battle of Constantine's life. Win the battle, and he's one step closer to being emperor. Fail, and it's certain death. It's, according to legend, Constantine himself, who never had a fixed faith at this time and wouldn't convert to a particular religion until his deathbed. Constantine is terrified going into this, and as well he should be. So, according to the stories of this battle, the night before, he's feverishly praying to every god and goddess he can think of for help, right? He's going around, he's like, Jupiter help me, Juno help me, Osiris, Zeus, Mithras, whoever, somebody help me. Anyway, and one of the gods that he prays to is Jesus. He says, Jesus, help me win this battle. And eventually, he's got to go to bed, so he falls asleep, and that night, in a dream, Constantine sees a symbol. Now, different legends depict different versions. In some versions, it's a cross. In the other, it's a symbol of Christ known as the Chi-Rho, which is the symbol you see behind you. It's made of the first two initials of the word Christos. And regardless of whichever symbol it is Constantine saw, he awoke and had his soldiers paint that image onto their shields. All right, now he marches out to Rome to meet Maxentius. Now, one of the bridges leading out of the city of Rome is known as the Milvian Bridge. So Maxentius gathers together his own soldiers and he marches out of the city gates of Rome to meet Constantine and his army for battle. The bridge collapses with Maxentius and his men upon it. Constantine and his forces rush down into the water, where Maxentius and his men are struggling to regain their footing. Constantine slays his enemies. Maxentius loses the battle, and with it, Constantine eventually reunifies the empire under his rule. Constantine never forgets the role that the Christian God played in his victory over his rival. And so he begins to show a marked favoritism and a marked tolerance for Christianity. In 313, he passes what's called the Edict of Toleration, also known as the Edict of Milan. And in it, he named Christianity as one of the official religions to be tolerated within the empire. For the first time since its founding, all the way back in 33 AD, Christianity was given legal status in the Roman Empire. The time of the persecutions was at an end. I'll leave you with this last image of Constantine and his victory at Milvian Bridge. And here's my little bibliography. So there's Constantine, and that is where we're going to end our presentation.